Good morning, Mr. Monet.
Good morning, Nokatula. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm also very well, thank you. It's cold in Johannesburg, but we soldier on.
We have to soldier on. So I just have a few questions here, five in total. Not going to take too much of your time. So my first question is, so much needs to be done on a societal level. So where do you start making a decision as to where you'll be doing your corporate social investment as AVBOB?
Okay. So Nokatula, the AVBOB Foundation was founded in 2012, and its primary focus really focuses on education within the country, specifically language and specifically primary school education. We as an organization recognize that there are a myriad of needs, societal needs that need to be addressed. And we've just made a decision to try and focus that as much as possible on education so that we're able to have the desired impact that we have. So we haven't decided to take our CSI and sort of spend the money thinly. We've rather decided to focus it so that we believe that we'll be able to have a better reach.
Okay, great.
So sorry, Nokatula. So with the founding of the foundation in 2012, we launched our container library project, and that is a project where our factory in Bloemfontein refurbishes shipping containers into libraries, and we donate those to deserving schools around the country. Just last week, on the 25th of May, we donated container number 58 to Makwarela Primary School in the Thohoyandou region of Limpopo. And we're looking forward to continuing that project going forward.
All right, that's quite interesting. You just mentioned two provinces being the Free State and Limpopo, Bloemfontein in the Free State. Which other areas are your focused areas?
So our container libraries project specifically is a national project. So we do have containers in all 9 provinces across the country. We're pretty much averaging around nine to 10 containers per province, just sort of depending on the need.
Okay. And can you highlight some of the key initiatives that have stood out for you?
So obviously this flagship container library project is our pride and joy. However, we also have a trolley library that we donate typically to schools that are smaller. Recently, we've just partnered with Oxford University Press in our Road to Literacy campaign. And we'll be donating 180 trolley libraries to deserving primary schools across the country. That competition ends now on the 31st of May. And we've requested the public to nominate deserving schools. Beyond that, we have a very good relationship with the Tears Foundation, and we sponsor their Help at Your Fingertips helpline. The Tears Foundation is an anti-gender-based violence organization. So empowering the Tears Foundation to assist victims in gender-based violence also just speaks to our shared value model in that we care. Even though you're not necessarily a policyholder for AVBOB, we do want the public to have access to these kinds of resources.
That's brilliant. So what are some of the challenges that you have encountered with your team in rolling out these initiatives that you've just mentioned?
So some of the challenges are obviously just making sure that there's a fit. I do believe that the NGOs that we work with, there needs to be a fit so that there's a synergy of working together as opposed to an instruction on how work should be done. So finding an NGO that speaks to the values of an organization are very important, and also developing sound partnerships, partnerships where trust is fostered between the two organizations, and then something that is not necessarily always a challenge for us, but something that we deem as a risk is how do we ensure sustainability of our projects? So it's not necessarily a challenge, but it's something that we're always just very mindful of to ensure that we're not just throwing money into water. We're intentional about our spend.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what are some of the key learnings that you have taken from doing the work that you're doing?
One of the key learnings is the importance of getting community buy-in. You can't just go into a community and prescribe. We need to work together for the success of these projects. And by having community buy-in, it really elevates and takes a project to a whole new level. Speaking to the community, understanding what their needs are. For instance, if their need is not a library, then we shouldn't donate a library to that school. It would be a fruitless exercise. And if we want to work with the community or a specific school and they don't need a library, and we're intentional about being there, then let's have those conversations with the school governing body, with the community leaders, to understand what donation would then be fitting.
Makes sense. And also, what if, or in a case where an NPO or an NGO is interested in working with AVBOB, how do you go through that?
So we're pretty much have a structure of how we fund. So 70% of our budget goes towards what we term our primary projects. 20% is our secondary projects, and 10% is our ad hoc projects. So pretty much 90% of the budget is pre-allocated during our budgeting period. However, we've left a 10% buffer for organizations to submit applications to the foundation. And that's just to, that also allows us an opportunity that an ad hoc applicant could eventually progress into a secondary or a primary if there's a fit. So if someone is interested in applying to the AVBOB Foundation, they can just send an email to csi@avbob.co.za, and we'll send them our application form, and that will be discussed then by our CSI committee. We have 6 meetings a year to review applications.